is fine, but Pasquale is how is my name.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So I think we're about good to go. I'm actually going to try something a little bit different here, which is like take a video for Instagram of our computer. So it's going to be real fucking weird. So it doesn't matter, dude. All right. So let's get stuck into this, guys. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you are sick of those dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Now, this guy that you're seeing on your screen here, he's put his makeup on. He's got up 3 hours earlier than he normally gets up because everything's very slow in Tasmania, Australia. But the boy's here. Good morning, Pascal. How are you, buddy?
Morning, Jace. Yes, good, mate. Good, thank you.
You asked me a question just before we started. What was the question? Is it normal to be?
Is it normal to be nervous?
Talk me through that. Why do you feel nervous?
I don't know. I've got a habit of waffling on and probably saying dumb things sometimes. So I try to chat too much. So I've got to try and calm down a bit. But,
dude, a couple of waffles is a good breakfast, mate. A couple of waffles is a good breakfast in my world. I'm the exact same way. So, guys, welcome Pascal to the podcast. What we're here to do is have a little bit of a talk about Pascal's results. Now, I was going through your results, dude, over the course of today, and we are about a kilo short of 20 kilograms. Now, dude, this is at the moment 17% of your body fat that you have lost. 17%. Now, in addition to that, your waist is down 25 centimeters. That's crazy, man. So what I want to do is go back to the start. Actually, we started, let me get the date, 24th of March. That's happened in about 6 months. So let's go back, say, 6 to 8 months ago. What was going wrong, big fella? What was happening?
Look, Jace, it was just, I guess, my number one thing was, I do a job that's quite active, but I really, in terms of nutrition, I wasn't really trying at all to, follow any sort of plan or diet or anything like that. Just the usual thing, you cook dinner, you make a bit extra, you bring that to work, and whatever's lying around, whatever you feel like eating, you eat, and you don't really think about it. And but the problem was, that was just becoming a never-ending cycle, and the weight was just stacking on. And I had a bit of a reality check when I got diagnosed with really severe what's it called, sleep apnea. So yeah, and that was the thing that just kind of said, you know what, I've got to do something about this. Blood pressure was also a problem for me, and yeah, so it's just like I really got to change my ways. And just so happened I saw your video one night when I was doom scrolling. As we
do you remember what video it was?
I remember the end of it, and it was just a similar thing you do with a lot of your videos. It's like, if you're over 40 and stuck in the what's the endless cycle of something or other, it was you want to make a change, something like that. But it just resonated, mate. And I was just like, you know what, this guy knows what he's talking about. He knows exactly what's going through my mind right now. I was one of those people that made a lot of excuses trying to, oh yeah, I'll do it next week. I'll go back to the gym. And then I was, no. I think you also said something in your video about, about the nutrition as well. And it was just like, oh yeah, I want to learn. I don't want to just do a thing again, because I've done a lot of fad diets too, and a lot of little, things that try to get you back on the path. And I've lost weight doing those, but it's never been sustainable. So unsustainable workouts and workout habits and things. That's the thing. Like, little health kicks, and and they haven't worked. So, and long term, but with you guys, you really show us and educate us on the right way to do things, and really understand what you need to do and what needs to happen in order to lose the weight. And,
Jesus Christ, bro, you're like the world's nicest man. I can't wait till we can actually cuddle in person one day, maybe at a retreat or something. Hey, dude. So you mentioned that you kind of like you hit 40 and then it started to pile on. Like if we're just being honest, I'm going to call you out, right? You don't put on 20 kilograms from eating a little bit too much of last night's leftovers at work the next day. So what was it? Was it like you had some sort of struggles in your life and food was a comfort? Like why were you? Why do you? Was it drinking?
Well,
Was it what?
It goes. I think. Well, actually, it goes back further than that. Like, yeah, there was drinking involved, but there was also. I was quite a large child, large kid. You know, growing up. You know, I was in an Italian family. Well, I'm part Italian, but also my mother's side we're Cook Island Maori, so it's
right.
Two cultures that love their food, eh?
Yes, yeah.
And it's very, and the way we show love is to feed people.
Yes.
So, and that just was really ingrained, you know what I mean? And I guess I had a bit of a control issue when it came to food, like quantities. So I could just, we were told we had to finish our food when we were kids, and that's what you had to do. And just the weight kind of yo-yoed like for years. So yeah, I wouldn't say just at 40 I was up and down, but my heaviest was probably around when I was around 40. I started to pile it on, and
because when I asked you that in your chat, I sort of said, "Oh, how long is this? Like a 1 to 2 year thing?" And you said, "I haven't been under 100 kilos for a long time, 15 years." What you said. How tall are you? How tall are you?
So I'm 176 centimeters.
Yeah, so you and I are exactly the same height. And for reference, if you're listening to this podcast, like I've got a decent amount of muscle mass and I'm sitting at about 80 kilos. So for you to have, say, 35 more kilos at exactly the same height and pretty much exactly the same age, like we're a very good comparison in terms of height for weight, right? So that is like, you're probably 20 kilos over where you want to be at minimum. And I love what you said then, because what you're doing here is like, you're understanding that perhaps it wasn't your fault, but it's your responsibility to fix it. If we grow up in a home that is like, you got to finish your food. And you know what, Pascal, if I'm honest, I actually kind of still do that a bit with my kids now. Right, they're too
ingrained, isn't it?
It's so ingrained, and part of it's like you think about it, like I don't want to waste food. Like my family, my wife's family, they are happy just to throw shit out. I haven't come from that upbringing. I've come from like a middle class upbringing, and I'm like, no, we eat everything. We don't throw shit out. The problem is that if everything is like super high calorie meals, it becomes really, really difficult. So, dude, the question I want to ask you is more around like the struggle. So when you were up in your weight, can you tell me the sort of things like, and don't make stuff up, just tell me the sort of day-to-day things that you felt like you struggled with?
So when I was up in the weight, the struggle was physical, like because I'm a spray painter tradesman, so on your feet all the time, and you got to bend down a bit to prepare panels and paint and all that sort of thing. And every time I was kneeling down or crouching down, get back up, you make this noise. And I mean, that's probably just comes with age. But
I still do that as well. I do that as well.
But it's certainly not as frequent now, being lighter. So that's one of the things. The other thing was I suffered really severe heartburn.
Yeah.
But that was probably another thing with the sleep apnea. Like I went on a CPAP machine, and that actually improved my sleep and gave me a better quality of life. But the CPAP machine, I don't want that to be what I want to be on forever. Like that was one of my driving goals as well, being in BBAs. I want to get to this 90 kilo mark, because that's what the doc told me I needed to get to, probably according to the BMI, or like you said about the height thing. Yeah. So that was in my head, that was my sort of goal.
So good. And so tell us about because you got kids.
I do, yeah. 3 boys.
Yeah. Getting a bit of a struggle to kind of keep up with them, and imagine they're pretty active.
Oh, they certainly are. And I wouldn't say I was always overweight, like over the past 10 years, I did a bit of martial arts, and I got pretty slim doing that. And that was about, it was probably nearly 6 or 7 years ago now. And I did that for about 5 years, and look, that was good. But yeah, it was just really hard to commit and make the time to do that. It was a very full on instructor. But he was great because he was like, he does a lot of things like BBA does and works on your mindset. But he was also a drill sergeant. So, if you didn't make you didn't make the cut, he will tell you. I can still hear his voice in my head.
Right. And so that's if you're like, I like that, and it's the thing. Like, do you know David Goggins?
Now that I've joined the BBA and you guys talk about him a lot, I've looked him up, and my kids even know about him because he's on social media all the time.
Yeah, to be honest, I love him, but I'm not a huge fan of what his. I think for the everyday person, it's the wrong mindset. Like, the reality is, you are a spray painter with 3 kids and a partner, and you're busy. Like, when people say, like, you're not busy, you're just wasting your time. I don't believe that for a second. Like, we're fucking busy, right? And if we've got a little bit of time, the void gets filled with something in our life. And sometimes it's actually just sitting down because we're so freaking tired. It's really funny how the moment we start to get ourselves a little bit healthier, all of a sudden we have more time. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. I have actually. And I used to be that exact same person that used to just say, oh, no, I don't have time. I don't have time to go to the gym, even though I had a membership at any time for like 2 years and I didn't ever use it. Like, that's ridiculous to me. So, but now it's somehow finally I find it. I get up earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so tell me, what are the kind of the top, say, 1 or 2 things that you think have made the biggest amount of difference or contributed to your transformation? Like, what were the kind of penny drops that you needed to hear, even if they're just like really fucking simple things?
Geez, that's tough because there's a few.
Yeah.
But the 2 main things, I guess. Sorry, Jason.
That's okay. Like, as in, like, do you think it was something practical around your nutritional training or steps that you weren't doing? Or was it more that, for example, I think a lot of people, what they need is they need to see that they're not completely broken and a useless human. And when they're in a community with a bunch of other people, right, and they start to see, oh, right, so I'm not unique. Everyone struggles with this shit, right? Sometimes that's enough to just get people moving. So for you, I get a sense that the community component's been really, really important.
Absolutely. Now that you say that, yes, the community, learning about the nutrition, the education, and the community, 2 main things for me.
Okay.
To make this possible.
Okay, cool. I love it.
For it to happen. So,
what have your kids and partner had to say? I'm interested. Now, be honest, because sometimes actually when one of the partners gets like super duper fit, it can actually be challenging for the relationship. So what's it been like for you?
Look, she's very happy with my progress. If anything, she probably thinks I'm getting a bit too skinny. You've never been that skinny, and that's kind of nice to hear. But then it also makes you think, oh, am I getting too skinny now? But
okay, let me answer that. Let me answer that question. Right now, that's a subjective topic. I can tell you from a height to weight perspective, you're definitely not too skinny. Yeah. However, from a relative perspective, to someone looking on, right? That's why when someone loses 20 kilograms and they go from, man, you're a fat prick, to, dude, have you got cancer?
Like, sick?
Are you sick? Because to their mates are still seeing them through the frame that they used to be, right? And so they're still looking at you as that same frame, and then all of a sudden you're this new person. So yeah, hey, this is the way that things are sold, right? You position them next to something big and it looks small. So I can just tell you straight away, dude, you're not underweight at all.
Awesome.
Probably based on your height, I think 85 to 90 is a really good position because you've actually got a good amount of muscle mass there as well. Yeah, nice. That would be my thinking about that. You're kind of in and around your weight target. is there stuff that you really are continuing to work on, or stuff that you kind of feel really driven by, whether it's in the gym or with your kids or with your career? Where do you kind of see this going? Like, are you ready to say, yeah, cool, job done? Or is this kind of igniting some things in you?
Look, this is definitely igniting different ideas and things in my head. I just don't want to be complacent with what I'm doing now. I want to keep going with my health journey. Like, this is, for me, this is life now. This is what I want to be. As far as, I've even been thinking about maybe a possible career change. You guys really inspire and motivate me. Like, I reckon I could do the whole PT thing. I love, being able to maybe help someone go through their own similar journey. So I've been thinking seriously about it, Jason. I don't know where to start with it, but yeah, maybe that's another conversation we can have.
Oh, we can have it right now. I can tell you straight away. We can have it right now. And to anyone that's listening to this, and whether you're inside a Better Body Academy or not, I am personally always looking for coaches, but I'm also very hesitant with the idea that someone just does a transformation for themselves and then calls themselves a coach. The reality is, the hardest, I've worked something out, right? The reason that fitness is the entry point to a person's life transformation is, generally speaking, it doesn't involve any other people. Like, generally speaking, yes, you've got to work with your partner to make sure that someone can mind the kids while you go to the gym, or the food is fit for everyone at the house, or whatever it is. There's a little bit of that. But in fitness, for the most part, weight loss, it's yourself. It's a battle against yourself. And so if you can conquer yourself, that's the entry point. But then when you start to go into like improving your relationship or improving your career, those things, and in this case, we're talking about you through the frame of improving your career, those things involve other people.
Yep.
Right? And so when they involve other people, I think it's infinitely harder than getting yourself in shape, because that involves yourself. Now, granted, if a person's had a bunch of trauma over the course of their life, as we talked about on yesterday's coaching call, some things come up on that coaching call where a couple of girls and guys are, there's a lot of trauma around losing weight. If you can get over that, you create incredible leverage to then be able to improve your relationships and your career. So I think if I'm really transparent with this stuff, what I want to look for in people to become coaches is not only can they do the physical stuff, but do they have the mental resilience that when something hits you hard, and it will, dude, like in the next year, something will happen which will knock you off your socks, off your kind of perch, and then you're like, okay, how does he contend with that? And a great example of this, if you're watching, is Nikki Connolly, right? She's done the physical transformation, incredible. She's had some challenges in her life recently that she's really needed to deal with that have been really fucking difficult. And so we're watching on how does that person respond to that? Because you can really only get to a position of coaching when you've been able to scale your mindset into another person. And if you can do that, dude, then it's an amazing feeling, brother. It's an amazing feeling. So let's come back to you. What sort of place do you feel now, physically and mentally?
I feel happier than I've ever been. I feel physically stronger. Mentally, like my mindset has totally changed. So yeah, and people do see it. Like, even my work colleagues, they're like, why are you always so happy, and why are you always so buzzing? Like, and, don't you ever shut up? Don't you ever shut up about your nutrition and all that? And I said, just if you ask me a question about it, guys, I could talk about it all day.
Yeah.
And that's just the honest truth.
Yeah.
And you guys have led the way for that for me. So,
dude,
I'm forever grateful.
And how cool is it that you're indirectly impacting your mates as well? They might not be ready to start a transformation yet, but by your influence, you've at least shown them an example of what's possible when they're ready. Like, to me, that's very, very cool. Yeah.
the weekly check-ins, Jace, they're the things that really blow people out because, I mean, as in the photos, the
Yes.
side by sides from when you start to your present. Like I've shown people a few of those. I don't show everybody that, and sometimes you've posted those things as well, and like people
Yes.
saying, oh my god, like what the hell?
Yeah.
And it still actually surprises me too because I'm like, I can't believe I was actually that big. Like I thought, yeah, it was big, but when you put it side by side like that, it's like,
Yes.
yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, do you know how many people say that to me after 6 to 12 months? They say, I didn't realize I got that big. And my initial thought is like, are you serious? Like, didn't you see it in the mirror? And the answer is nearly always either I just still didn't realize, or I'd got so used to not looking at myself in the mirror anymore and hiding away, trying to step out of photos, that I'd kind of put my head in the sand with it. And the problem is that it's a pretty big awakening that when you pull your head back out of the sand and nothing's changed, that's where the struggle is. Dude, how is the sleep apnea or your sleep quality changing? I'm interested there. Has it improved or it's still bad?
No, it's improved, and sometimes I can't tell when I'm sleeping, but my wife is the good indicator because she couldn't stand me snoring. I had to sleep in a different room. So,
Really?
but now with the sleep apnea machine, it helps. It forces you just to breathe through your nose,
Mm.
and not through your mouth. So, but there's been days where I've been trying not to use it, and yeah, I still sleep fine. So I still need it sometimes, but it's probably with a little bit of congestion. Sometimes I've been a bit crook last week, so I'm still on the tail end of that. But yeah, look at sleep wise, getting good sleep. Do I get enough sleep? Probably not. I need to still. That's one of the things I need to work on is getting my 7-8 hours sleep a night. But yeah, keep on keeping on.
Well, dude, I am extremely proud of you, mate, for firstly for getting on this, because I know it's outside of your comfort zone, which is the reason I wanted to do it. Guys, if you want to ask any questions to Pascal, I'm quickly checking across our Facebook groups. If you would like to ask anything, please ask it into the comments, and I will certainly ask him that question. You've got everyone in the comments, mate, absolutely loving you and saying good morning and let's go. Dude, like, super freaking proud, like super proud of the way that you've conducted yourself. And from my perspective, I want to thank you because trying to one of my like constant emotional battles, like for myself and my own, I don't know if it's validation's the word, but I'm just like so committed with my team to the craft. And I know that Carly, Aaron, and Dom also struggle with this. It's like there's not enough hours in the day to do everything that we want to do, to try to be able to make the mark with each individual person, especially the people who aren't wholly sold on themselves yet. So when a guy comes in, or for those of you watching, a girl that comes in and really takes ownership and says, you know what, like, I'm going to create energy around me, dude, like, that goes such a long way to being able to make our program like what it is, bro. So for me to you, I really do appreciate your energy, brother. I'm gonna read out a beautiful comment from Vicky. She said, Pascal, you're the sort of person I think I would want to be around.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Vicky.
So I'm going to leave the podcast on that note, because for me, that's the highest order of compliment. Guys, give him a round of applause. Hopefully that you've enjoyed this episode. I love doing these episodes because if just one person who's not in Better Body Academy listens to these episodes and sees this guy and sees that he's a real person, that at the start he was ducking and weaving my messages in Instagram because he was fucking nervous about starting. He knew he wanted to start, but he wasn't sure if he was ready yet. He leaned into the discomfort, and here he is 6 months later and 20 kilos down on the podcast telling his story. That there is the way forward. So, guys, this has been the Better Body Academy podcast, coming to you for another episode with my superstar dude, Pascali, and we'll see you in the